Hey everybody, welcome back to Rick's Tech Talk. In this video I'm going to show you how we made a cheap and affordable cover for our KitchenAid mixer, so that way we can leave it up on the countertop at all times. Okay, so I have the boards all cut up, ready to go. You're just going to measure and cut the boards to your size. So I'm not putting any measurements on this because all the mixers are a different size. And we're going to put the end grain facing out, so that way when you're looking at the front, you don't see these the end grain in the front. It's not going to be as visible on the side, so that's what we're going to do. You can glue them up. I'm going to glue and use brad nails. I'll probably use these clamps here to hold it in place. So there's a lot of different ways you could do this. I'm just going to use those. You could use pocket holes, wood dowels, biscuits, you know, whatever you have. You could even use small finish nails, pound them in. It doesn't have to be anything great, because you're going to distress this and make it look like a, you know, old piece of furniture or cabinet, whatever you want to call it. Let's glue these suckers up. Okay, there's our shell. We got our sides and our face. These 90 clamps here are working really good. So we have the same distance from here that we do down here. So they're working really good. If you don't have something like this, yeah, you could just kind of set it up this way, just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect for something like this. So I'm gonna start working on the top. I'll take some measurements and we'll get the top on, and then we'll start making some little pieces here that'll look like drawers, and we'll just glue those on. So the best way I think to do this part is just put some glue around the edge and then just set it down. Yeah, I think that's going to be the best bet. So I'll flip this over. And we'll get that as close as we can to the mark. So I just had to eyeball that on there, and that's it. So we'll find something to put on there. So as you can see, we got the weight here pushing down on it. So we're gonna let this sit for a little bit. I didn't want to put any brad nails in the top going down. I already got them in the front, which I really didn't want to do that. But to speed things up, you know, I slapped 3 on each side. I'm gonna go rinse out my rag. We're gonna let this sit for a little bit. One thing to consider is that when you put the pieces of plywood on the front to act like a drawer, are you gonna paint this or stain this? Are you gonna do it all at once, or are you gonna do it separate? So I have to find out if she wants them on before or after she paints or stains. Because if you paint it, then you're going to basically be painting these things right onto it, and they're going to look like they're molded to it. So to give it that real look, you might want to paint those drawer fronts and then stick them on after they've been painted. So that way it doesn't look like they're bonded together. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'll go rinse this out and clean up the glue, and then I'll start cutting those drawer fronts. This is the 1/8 inch plywood. This is like Luan that you use for flooring. So these are going to be the fake drawers that will go on here. And she is going to paint these separate. So that way, you know, the paint doesn't like bond it together so it looks like it's all one piece. So you do them separate, put them on there, and she's going to go get some little knobs or handles today and put them on. So all I have to do is sand this down, and then she's going to take care of all the painting and or staining, whatever she's doing. We're just going to try to sand the edges down a little bit and just, you know, go over the corners. So we'll start doing that. All right, so we got it all sanded down. I'll just go over the edges and just touch these up a little bit. Okay, so everything's been finished off. It's ready to be assembled. What she did is she painted the whole thing this creamish color, and she sanded down the edges a little bit. And then when you put the stain on, the stain grabs the wood that she, you know, sanded down a little bit, and the stain grabs into that wood and makes it a little bit darker around the edges. So on this piece here, you can kind of see that a little better right in there. So that's one of the drawer fronts. So that's gonna go on like so. And then we put a little knob, a little thing like that. So I'm gonna start assembling this. Another thing we did to find the center is I had her take a ruler and just measure across this way and this way, find the center. I'll drill through that, through the back side, and then I'll drill through the front, and we'll just make the hole big enough for these screws to go in. So I'll get going on that part. Okay, so now that I got the holes drilled through these guys, time for placement. All right, so this is our front. Put it up like this, and we are gonna find the perfect spot to put these. So I marked the holes, and if you wanted to, you can go through and just make sure they're all perfectly lined up. So these screws here are maybe a little bit too long. So I did cut one down, maybe a little bit over 1/8 of an inch. So we're gonna see how that one fits. And then we'll go from there. Well, let's just make sure this ain't gonna be too long. So let me give you a couple ideas that you can do with this. You could glue these on. You could use two-sided tape, and you could put two-sided tape here and just glue this on onto here, glue that on. Two-sided tape would give it a nice effect because it would help it, you know, stick out a little bit. You wouldn't want to use that really thin stuff that you put like on windows and stuff like that for that plastic. You'd want to use some sort of padded, some really thin padded stuff, and that'll just make it kind of stick out a little bit and give it a nice look. There's a lot of different ways you could do it. Just don't use something like hot glue. Hot glue is just gonna, you know, come off eventually, and it's just going to fall. So use some sort of wood glue, screws, brad nails, whatever you want to do, but I think glue would probably be your best bet. We just happen to, get these knobs, and they have screws, so why not screw them on? But we are going to glue it so it doesn't shift on us. Put a little dab of wood glue, like so, just little dabs. And then we already got our screw in there. Okay, and then the last thing to do is probably you could just eyeball it really, or you could measure it. Okay, that's one done. That's all you really need. You don't want too much glue on there. The last thing you want is that bleeding out. Okay, so I measured that up, and that's pretty close on both sides, but I don't think you're gonna notice. All right, we're all set. Time to take it inside, and we'll put it over the mixer and see what it looks like in there. Okay, so we got our mixer there, and if you want to hide it, this is all you gotta do. And that's it, it's gone. Now when you have company, you can enjoy watching them try to open your drawers. Well, there you have it, a very cheap and affordable way to make a cover for your KitchenAid mixer. So if you know anybody that has one of these, please share the video with them. And if you like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.